Good morning. How are you diddling? Excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another live video. Welcome to another episode of Dazed, Confused, and Generally Buggered, which is pretty much how we're all feeling at the moment. And also, it was handily written on my mug, so I thought I would use it as a title. If you don't know who I am, I'm Simon Scholes. I'm a former athlete. I'm a former radio and TV presenter, and now I run an award-winning visual marketing agency called Perception Studios. That place right there, that's message there. That's our logo. And basically what we do is we help brands and businesses create content that's visual that will really help them stand out on their social media channels, be it things like video content, photography content, animated content, cinemagraphs, 3D GIFs, mini documentaries, longer documentaries that can be edited into smaller documentaries, all sorts of stuff. And it all really is very bespoke to each and every single business. However, a few years ago, I decided I wanted to try and help smaller businesses understand what they could do themselves for free, because not everybody could afford to come to an agency like us and actually pay to have their content created. So what I came up with was my How to 9 Times Your Social Media process, where you can take one piece of content and turn it into many pieces of content and do it all yourself, or very cheaply get an agency to help you repurpose that content. Rather than paying out masses of money for ideas and big filming budgets, you could create the content yourself and then get them to edit it for you, rather than worrying about learning the editing skills. But it is simply how you can take that one piece of content and turn it into at least 9 pieces of content, potentially way more. In fact, you could easily turn it into way more. But I want you to just get onto that content creation journey. So I'm doing these live videos every single day. I want you to get your questions in at the moment. I know the guys on the 11's hour on Twitter at the moment are coming up with some questions, so we'll go through some of those fairly soon. And the discussion point this morning as well, which is something I've had asked quite a bit recently, is about Pinterest. Now, I'm no Pinterest massive expert, but I have a few little hints and tips I can throw your way that could maybe just help you take your Pinterest onto the next level. So if you're using Pinterest at all, for your brand or for your business, then keep your eyes or ears peeled for that information coming up very, very soon. And as always, the comments are open to you guys watching right now. If you are watching and you fancy having a question answered live on the stream, then all you've got to do is just drop into the comment section on whatever platform you're watching on and leave your question in there. You can do that on Twitch, you can do that on Periscope or Twitter as it would be, you can do that on YouTube, you can do that on the Facebook group How to Know, or if you're watching on the Perception Studios Facebook page, you can do it on there as well. Sadly, still not live on LinkedIn, but that will come. Hopefully, slowly but surely, we will be live on LinkedIn as well. So just get your questions into the comments. Make sure you say hello as well. Let us know that you're out there. I can hear you breathing, so you know you're there. Just come and say hello and ask those questions. Like I say, we're going to talk about Pinterest. If you've got any questions about Pinterest, feel free to answer them, ask them. I will do my best to answer them. I'm not a massive expert on Pinterest, but I know a few bits and pieces. Good morning to Miles, who's tuned in this morning. He is asking how the week's been. My week has been very good indeed. Thank you very much, Miles. In fact, I think it was Wednesday was brilliant. We had a great chat with Alan Spicer, YouTube expert. If you've not seen that video, go back and watch it. I'm also cutting it up into smaller videos, which are going to be live or are currently live on YouTube and also on the Perception Studios Facebook page as a playlist. And they're just getting added to each time I edit a new video out of there. So that was a really great piece of live content, which you can go and watch the full thing, or you can check out some of the shorter videos. And also Max, my little boy, the reason why I do these lives at about 11:30, because he goes down to sleep. He slept for 3 hours on Wednesday, which was brilliant. Great stuff. Anyway, so shall we get started with today's subject matter? We are talking about Pinterest and what you can do on Pinterest yourself right now to try and help your content get a little bit further. Now, if you didn't know, Pinterest is probably not really classed as a social media engine. It is social media, but actually Pinterest classes itself as more of a search engine. It's not up there with the rankings of Google or YouTube, but it is a great search engine for products. Now, Pinterest is a very female-friendly website. It's got a female-heavy usership, but that doesn't make any difference to putting your content out on there. Even if you're aiming at men still use it, but it's just more of a female-heavy audience. So do you remember me talking about this a while ago? Remove the friction for your audience. So wherever they're likely to be, potentially post content on those channels, because there's a chance that they will see it and then become a fan of your content, come and find you elsewhere, or even possibly become a customer. And that's the great thing about Pinterest, is that because it's a search engine, because people use it as a search site, it becomes a better opportunity for pushing your products. So there's like 250 million users every single month across the globe on Pinterest. Now, across the globe, that doesn't sound a lot, but that's a big number, 250 million people. I know it's not in the billions like Facebook or YouTube, but that is still a huge, staggering amount of people that are using that platform to go and find products. Because generally the way people use it is they actually sign in, and they might be looking to buy, I don't know, a new kitchen for their home. And so what they do is they go, right, we like some of these, and we like this one from Homebase, and we like that one from Wix, and so on and so forth. And then they go, right, okay, now I want to see what else there is out there. So they'll go on to something like Pinterest, where people will have created boards dedicated to really stylish kitchens that they absolutely love, and they will type in new kitchens, and those kitchens will pop up. Now, if your business is one of those ones that pops up, then you've got a better chance of them going, that's really nice, I like that one. Oh, that one's from the same person. And then they come and click into the description, click through to your website, and potentially make a purchase, or at least potentially become a hot lead and actually get in touch with you and say hello and find out if they can have a brochure sent or find out more information for pricing and that kind of thing. So Pinterest is a really great tool that you should be using, especially if you are B2C. B2B is a little bit more difficult. It's still capable of doing that kind of stuff. You can still put your value out to people within infographics and images and memes and that kind of stuff. It's not video based, it is image based. But actual B2C content, oh my word, it is just such a great way of getting your content out there for people to see. Now, some of the tips I'm going to go through, they may require you to spend some money. One thing about Pinterest is that it is, especially for B2C, potentially a slightly more polished project. So you might want to get some specific photos taken of your products or your products being used properly so that they look really good, rather than just a quick snap. You don't want it to be overexposed. You don't want it to be out of focus. Those kind of simple elements. Now, when I say don't worry about posting imperfect content, you still don't want it to be out of focus. You still don't want it to sound horrendous. You don't want the sound to be all crackly. You don't want it to be overexposed, which means like loads of light everywhere. You don't want it to be too noisy, which means it would be really grainy or anything. You want it to look half decent. But with Pinterest, you want to just take it probably on slightly a notch or two as well to try and make your content look a little bit better. Because what you're trying to do is create compelling images that will really showcase your products. Like I say, if you are B2C, this is a great website for you. So whether you are selling things like CDs, or whether you're selling hair products, or whether you're selling wardrobes, whatever it is that you're selling, make sure those products look really great. Use a nice creative backdrop as well. So if you can mask them out and make the backdrop actually look really poppy so that people will notice it a little bit more. Use bright, maybe bold colors if they go with your brand. Remember, your brand has to come first. If your brand colors are a little bit more subdued, a little bit more professional, then go with those colors. But feel free, if you're a little bit more flamboyant, or maybe you're a little bit more pastel-y, or a little bit more free and open with your product and your brand, then use slightly brighter colors to draw people into that content. Don't just go with this plain old simple white background. Everybody's doing that. So do something different. You want to stand out from the crowd, not mix and mingle in with them. It's not networking. It's not where you go networking, you just stand in the corner and hope nobody notices you. You need to get out there, you need to get in there, you need to stand out. And that's what Pinterest is all about, really standing out so people can see your content, potentially pin it to their boards because they love what it is that you do, and really actually capture them in with what you're actually trying to say and what you're trying to actually sell. So imagine this as well, rather than trying to sell that, sell the problem that fixes. So rather than going, you should buy our CDs, they're the best CDs, what about an image that portrays somebody having an issue with writing a CD, and your CDs are the best CDs because they never have any writing issues? That kind of thing. So to try and fix the problem, don't automatically sell. Again, Pinterest, just like all social media channels, is about being social and giving value. You don't sell on social media, you give value on social media. That's the whole point of social media. So don't sell instantly. Don't automatically try and ram a product down somebody's throat. They're going to potentially come to your website anyway because they've already come to look at your images on your Pinterest board. So that's what you want, is to really give that value of what it is that you do. The next one is when it comes to products, and it's not all products, but try to create lifestyle images. I kind of mentioned this a little bit a minute ago. But rather than just having this on a standardized background, why would you not get a photograph of somebody using it? So whether it be a wardrobe and somebody's opening the wardrobe and reaching in, or there's some clothes in the wardrobe, just really showcase the product itself. If it's curtains, show them tied back and how nice they can look. If it's bed linen, do the same thing, or somebody who's tucked up in bed and obviously looks nice and comfortable. Whatever it is that you sell and you're putting that out on Pinterest, try to make those images more lifestyle based, more actually they're being used based, because it brings in that human element, just like we all want from all social media. You need that human element to potentially break down that barrier, to create that emotional connection between you and the audience who are consuming what it is that you've got to say. So don't just post photos of your products and expect people to buy them. That doesn't necessarily work that way. Don't be afraid to do that as well, but just remember to try now and again to drop in those lifestyle images. Those will perform so much better for you. Also, use multiple images as well. Don't be afraid to not always draw people straight to your website, but maybe tell a story with the images that you're creating. So a little bit like Instagram stories, where one image leads to the next image, to the next image, to the next image. You can do that with Pinterest, and you could tell a story. So you could almost show, if you are a renovation company, the start product, the middle of the product, and the finished product of you renovating a really old and tired chair. Or it could be that the wardrobe comes flat packed so that you show them it actually being built. Or you could be a microphone company, so you show the microphone being put together and then the finished product. Those kind of things really, again, create that human interest so that people get drawn into your content. And this is what it's all about. It's all about drawing people in so that they will consume more of what it is that you've got to say, give a damn about what it is that you've got to say, get interested by what it is that you've got to say, and start following, because they want to keep getting that value that you're always giving on your content. Welcome to you if you've just joined us on the stream this morning. We're talking about Pinterest. If you are brand new to the stream, just let us know in the comments, say hello, let us know that you're out there. And if you're watching this on replay as well, you can still always ask your questions in the comments on replay. More than happy for you to do that, and we'll try and answer your questions on the next live stream, which will be tomorrow at about 11:30 again, once Max is asleep. So if you really want to ask some questions right now and you're listening on the replay, or you're watching the replay and you're going, oh, I've been struggling with this on Twitter, or I'm not really sure about this on Instagram, or do you know what, my videos are always looking a little bit weird, can you tell me why? Just drop me the question into the questions right now, and I will do my best to either answer it live, or if you're listening on the replay, I will answer it on the next live video that I do, or potentially even in the questions straight on the comments after doing the live stream today. Good morning to Ed, who's just popped in. Hope you're diddling well. I am diddling absolutely brilliantly. Thank you very much. This morning we are talking about Pinterest, as well as always, obviously, answering your social media questions and answering your video questions as well. Let's just have a quick check on Twitter, see if anybody's got in touch. Here we go. Right. Cool. They're watching from the 11th hour. So hello, 11th hour. Thank you very much for joining us. And no questions as yet from them, though. So if you do have any questions, feel free to chuck them into the comments or on Twitter right now, and we'll do our best to answer them. And before I move on to the next point about Pinterest, don't forget you can join my group as well, which is how to 9x your social media. How to 9x your social media. And you can drop into that group. I give free tips in there all the time. I'm talking to people, helping them out, giving free advice, loads of free videos, free memes, all that kind of stuff popping in there. So if you've got anything you want to ask, and you're kind of too shy to do it right now, drop into the group, go join the group, join the How to 9x Your Social Media group, and you can answer anything, get any questions asked in there. And also, the very top link in that group is my free How to 9x Your Social Media book, which is available right now. It doesn't cost a penny. It's completely free. You fill in some details. You say yes or no, you want to hear from me again. If you say no, you will never hear from me again. If you say yes, then you'll get my newsletter on a weekly basis. It's going out today. It'll have a game in there for people to play, some of my better content from the week, some of my latest news, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, get yourself subscribed to the newsletter. That would be really cool. But most importantly, if you do or you don't subscribe to the newsletter, you can still download my former #1 book, How to 9x Your Social Media, which takes you through the whole process that I talk about all the time, about how you can create more content from just one single piece of content. Okay, sorry about all the noise outside. We live on a building site, and yeah, obviously they're still working, so they're going backwards and forwards outside our bedroom window. Okay, right. Back to Pinterest. Hello to, very quickly, Cool Roblox Player 69, who says, "Hey, Havad Lavadu. Who are you? I'm not great with my Swedish. Sorry, I do apologize. But he's watching on Twitch, or she's watching on Twitch. So thank you very much for joining us. Okay, Pinterest. Moving on. The most important one, I think, is make sure that you make your content very mobile friendly. Think of the mobile phone first before you think of anywhere else that the content might potentially be viewed on Pinterest, because obviously there is the desktop app that you can download, there's the website and all that kind of stuff, but most people will use the app on their phone. So remember, 85% of people who are using Pinterest are using it on their mobile phone. So make sure that your language is directed to people who are using it on the mobile phone. And yeah, just remember that that's where they are. So tailor your content to those people first, above and beyond laptops, desktops, all that kind of stuff. Also, text overlays. This is a really interesting one, and I found out about this a little while ago. So text overlays, you can put text obviously over the top of your images. Now, if you put something like the price of your product as an overlay on it, and if somebody's using Pinterest as a search engine, there is a better chance of them actually buying the product from you, because they know instantly how much it's costing, and they can have that transparency as to how honest you are as a business, than they are to go back to where they were looking in the first place and buy it from them. So if you have a product, and I'm not saying do this every single image, but if you have a product that you're really proud of and you've given so much value already, and you want people to maybe buy that product, then what you can do is you can do that. You can overlay the price of the product, and there's a much better chance of them clicking to see that image, read the description, and then use the website that's on the description and go and buy the product. So don't forget to put the price in there. And most importantly, when you're writing your description and all the behind the scenes bits and pieces for Pinterest, don't forget to put the web link to the product in there, not just your website. You don't want them to just come to the website. You want them to go directly to that product. You want to make life as easy as you possibly can for them. If you want them to buy that coffee cup that says Dazed, Confused and Generally Buggered, you damn well better make sure that the link that they click takes them to the page where the mug for Dazed, Confused and Generally Buggered is available, and nowhere else. because they want that product. You've got to make life easy for people. Humans are inevitably always lazy, so make life for us easy so that we actually will make that purchase in the first place. Okay, and let's have a quick look at the comments. Ed McIntyre says, no idea what Pinterest is. Okay, so you missed it at the very beginning, but we were chatting about what Pinterest is. It is a social media site, but specifically it's more a search engine. It's the place where people will go to look at photographs or images of things they either desire or are looking to buy, or things that inspire them. So it can be places where people put quotes, and then they have a Pinterest board, so like a pin board. You know, like the old pin boards that you used to have in your bedroom and stuff like that. It's like what you would pin on there, but all the things that kind of really inspire you. So you could have mindset quotes, and so you have a Pinterest board specifically dedicated to mindset quotes, and you pin all your stuff on there, and then you can go back and go, oh yeah, that's the quote I need today, that's the one I need because I'm not quite in the right mind space. Or you're looking to buy a new kitchen, so you pin up all the kitchens that you like, and then you go, right, that's the one I want. That's what Pinterest is all about. People create boards with lots of images on them, and then you go along and go, oh, actually, I'm going to steal that idea there because I quite like it. And as a brand and as a business, if you especially are B2C, which you kind of are, you kind of aren't, it's a little bit of a difficult one for you, Ed, but you could then put images up that would draw people back into your products. So it's very female friendly. There are going to be obviously quite a lot of female Leeds United fans, so you could potentially look at using it that way to draw them back into your other content. So all the other stuff that you talk about, your podcast, your videos, your tweets, all that kind of stuff, especially when the season goes live again, whether we finish the season off or not. When we go live with football again, people are going to be craving that kind of content. Right now, they still crave it, but there's obviously no matches going on, so people are a little bit less bothered about football at the moment, if you get what I mean. I mean, I know fans are still very emphatic about their teams and stuff like that, and I'm a huge Liverpool supporter, but I've become less and less bothered about football since it's not been around. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but when it goes live again, it's going to go crazy. And so the more content you can put out now, that would maybe draw people back into your general content, your podcast content, your video content, all that kind of stuff would make a huge difference. Also, video pins. Now, I mentioned about it's very difficult to get videos up on Pinterest. I've always struggled with it. You can, though, get video content on there. So what you want to do is get your content up onto Pinterest. It's a bit like an Instagram story. So Instagram stories obviously can go quite long, but each block is split into 15 seconds. Pinterest can't go quite long. It is a 15-second block. But if you, again, have products or something really compelling and interesting to show people, then you could effectively have a Pinterest board with some really interesting content on. I'm just going to try and find something to show you that would be a good example of this. So if I just open this one up, this is a piece of content I made myself for a brand. And if I close this down, okay, so you may or may not have seen this before. This is what's called a cinematograph, and this was just a bit of fun I was having. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. That one there. In fact, should we do it with an application? That one there. Okay, so here we go. So I'm sharing the screen and have a check of this. So this is what's called a cinematograph. This is an image that is constantly moving, but it's just a photograph. But there is a part, an element of it always moving. And that kind of thing could really capture the audience. It could stop them scrolling because like, oh, hang on a minute, what's that? And then realize what it actually is. So can you see that? Something as simple as that could make a huge difference to your content on Pinterest or in any other channel, for example. But that kind of thing is quite interesting, and you can use that kind of video. That was 11 seconds long, but on Pinterest, it will just loop it round and round and round, almost like a GIF. So if you want to make good use of videos, you've got to start thinking creatively about your video content as well, but you can get really clever with it. But again, that brings it back to the Pinterest needs to be slightly more polished than your imperfect content. So is it better to get that kind of stuff created by somebody who can help you create it, an agency like us, or are you better off just doing it yourself? You've got to weigh up the pros and cons. If you don't have the budget, do it yourself, but don't expect it to necessarily get the best engagement that it could potentially get, because you might have a great idea, but somebody might be able to just take it on a level and actually make it look that much better. Okay, so get creative with your content. Don't forget that video pins work, but they're not very long. They're only like 15 seconds long, and I've always had an issue trying to post video content. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I've got fat thumbs. I'm not really sure. The only other real tip I would give on Pinterest is don't get too tied up in adding loads and loads of hashtags. You can put a lot of hashtags on there, but it becomes a little bit muddied. Pinterest is one of the few channels where you want to be a little bit more niche and a bit more specific with who you're actually aiming your hashtags at. So don't go crazy with the number of hashtags that you're looking to use. It comes across as spammy, for want of a better way of looking at it. When you do it on Instagram and things like that, not necessarily everybody reads all the way to the bottom of the comments or even reads the comments. So when you put your hashtags maybe in the comments or at the bottom of your description of your content, they might not see that. But on Pinterest, the first thing they will see is all the hashtags that are connected to it. And you've gone like, oh yeah, hashtag this and hashtag that and hashtag the other. And it just looks a bit spammy. So just use a few niche ones to really draw people into the content, help them find what it is that you're talking about. But don't go crazy. Really don't go crazy. And in fact, if you are a local business, then try and keep them really local. People within your area will be using Pinterest, and you're not bothered about if you're based in, I don't know, if you're based in Hull, you're not bothered about people in Southampton because you're up in Hull. So why would you then try and hit the whole of the UK or the whole of the world with your content? You wouldn't. So try and dedicate some of your Pinterest hashtags specifically to localize people, and then to grow your audience, to grow your brand, because obviously you want to get bigger slowly but surely. Then you could drop in one or two hashtags to really help you grow your audience on a wider scale as well. That's pretty much my tips for Pinterest. Like I say, I'm no Pinterest expert, but hopefully that's kind of helped a little bit. The main thing to remember is that Pinterest is used more as a search engine than a social media channel. It is classed as social media, do not get me wrong, but a lot of people using it as a search engine. They literally go, I love that pair of shoes. I want to buy that pair of shoes. Okay, I will open Pinterest. I'm into Pinterest now. And I say, right, okay, Reebok shoes. And then I go, okay, there's all the Reebok shoes. Right, okay. These are cool. These are cool. Oh, I like that. Oh, those ones there are the same as those ones, but they've got 60% off. This is a prime example of what I was talking about. So then you go into that image and you find out it's a company called Boots Bag. And then you can go, oh, blimey, they've got money off on all their shoes and they sell bags. I'm going to go and check them out. And you go into that one. Okay, I really like that image right there. Okay, they're cool. And they've got 15% off that particular shoe at the moment. So I can get that because I'm a new user. And then I can go into their website details and they can have a shop on there and sell their products. And then they make some money out of me, all by the fact that they had 60% off labeled on one of their images. It's that simple. It's a great app, but you've got to make good use of it. You've got to make it work for you. Remember, it is a search engine. And as always, with all social media channels, it isn't a magic pill to your business. You're not automatically going to make loads of money from it just by posting once. It takes hard work, bit of effort, and then you will eventually get to that stage where you can start making some money from it. But don't automatically think that's going to happen straight away. Just put your content out that's going to give people value, great looking images, great looking lifestyle images, maybe even get influencers involved, get people like whoever might be connected to your product involved with your content, get them to take an image and send it to you and then use that on Pinterest. That kind of stuff will really draw people in and create that level of interest for them. Okay, anyway, we're going to stop talking about Pinterest now. If you've got any questions whatsoever, we're going to go for a little bit longer. We've nearly been going for half an hour. So if you've got any question today, as we lead into the weekend, and don't forget, social media works a 7-day week, not a 5-day week. So as we lead into the weekend, any questions whatsoever, chuck them into the comments. I'll answer as many of them as I possibly can do. As you will know, if you've been watching the live streams regularly, I will be here tomorrow. I will be here on Sunday. So the live stream is always on. I will be here 7 days a week for about half an hour to an hour each live stream, unless you get loads and loads of questions in, and I'll answer as many of them as I possibly can. Let's have a quick check of Twitter, actually, while I think of it, before I have another drink, and see if anybody on Twitter has asked anything at all, because Twitter is on Periscope. It's a bit of a strange setup. So yeah, no, nobody on Twitter at the moment. But if you've got any questions, like I say, just yell and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you're a little bit scared, a little bit afraid of looking daft by asking the question that you're going to ask, number one, there are no silly questions ever. But number two, if you still feel that way, just drop me an email. It's scrolling along on the bottom there, and we can either chat on email or we can have a Skype call and arrange that, and I do a 15-minute free Skype call and we can talk about your social media and talk about bits and pieces. Or if you want, I can take your details out of the question and answer it tomorrow on the live stream. So feel free to drop me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And while I'm at it, what the hell, I'll mention it one more time. Come and join my group, How to 9x Your Social Media, on Facebook. It's a free group, loads of info in there, loads of people in there talking about their businesses, talking about their social media, what they're up to, all that kind of stuff. And most importantly, for me right now, I feel that would really help you get on that content creation journey. At the top of the page is my free former #1 book, How to 9x Your Social Media. It's completely free, will not cost you a penny. You literally click on the link, fill some details out. You either decide to hear from me again, or you say, no, balls to that. I never want to hear from this dodgy northerner again, but I do want to get his free book and read what he's got to say. Then you can just download my book, and it's as simple as that. Okay? Brilliant. Right, I'm going to disappear then, I think, because the questions have dried up today, and my coffee's gone cold, so I'm going to go warm it up. Until tomorrow at 11 o'clock-ish, 11:30, more likely. Stay safe. Have a good rest of your Friday. And yeah, what else can I say other than stay inside or stay in your back garden, wherever you are. Enjoy your exercise today. Enjoy the sunshine. It is absolutely glorious. And we're very lucky in the fact that we have a balcony that we can sit out on. So Max and I will be out on there playing with these cars, and I'll be watching him throw them off the edge of the balcony as they plummet to the ground and smash on the concrete below. So I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care, stay safe, and have a good one.